Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wrestling Territories Podcast. Tonight, we're going to talk about a tag team that really enhanced a lot of other tag teams in professional wrestling. Stay tuned. So the Mulkey Brothers is a tag team that a lot of people my age remember at least. Some of you younger people may have heard of them, but they were an enhancement talent in the NWA and Jim Crockett Promotions, and they did a ton of good work for people like the Road Warriors, the Midnight Express, the Rock and Roll Express, any team that they took on. They did a heck of a job, and these guys were fantastic. I mean, they would get beat up, thrown out of the ring, thrown over the ropes, through the ropes onto the concrete floor. It did not matter. They took bump after bump after bump, and they started to get a kind of a cult following. And we want to talk about them tonight. And I think if you've never heard of them, or if you have heard of them, you might want to hear this story. It's really cool because these two guys really did a lot for professional wrestling. All right, the tag team you see before you, Randy and Bill Mulkey. They were real life brothers. And they just decided they were going to be a part of the NWA one day, and I guess got beat up real bad, but decided to come back over and over and over again. Um, they would never have any big victories except for one. I want to talk about that for a minute. The thing was, they were jobbers. They got over well with the fans. People started loving them, even though they get beat up pretty badly. Now they would be, you see them quite a bit on Saturday night shows at the studios, but you'd also see them out in the arenas and stuff like that as well. But they do have that one win, and they do have a one win that really the fans absolutely loved. It was against a team known as the Gladiators, and it was actually George South and Nelson Rule under the mask. And if they won that match, they were going to be able to make it to the Jim Crockett Senior Memorial Cup, which the Gladiators were coming in as a fictitious tag team from the West Coast. They were West Coast tag team champions, I believe, is what they said that they were going to be. Anyway, that's what it. That was a storyline. And anyway, they got the victory over top of the Gladiators, and they did, and it was hilarious because when they won, the fans were absolutely going crazy in that little studio in Atlanta, Georgia. They absolutely loved it, and they were billed as being 0 and 180. Their record was 0 and 180. They lost 180 matches. That was kind of exaggerated, but anyway, they lost a lot of matches, so they were considered to be 0 and 180. So like a reverse Goldberg type situation. And but they ended up getting to the Jim Crockett Senior Memorial Cup. That was a big deal for them. They also got the ability to um, face against the Midnight Express for the U.S. Tag Team Championships in their hometown of Anderson, South Carolina. And that was interesting because I've heard a story about that before. I don't believe it was ever recorded. I think it was just an event that happened in Anderson, South Carolina, as a rec center is what it was called. And it was Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane with Jim Cornette putting their U.S. tag titles against the hometown favorites. And believe you me, they were extremely popular in their hometown from things that I have read. So the Midnight Express go out and they retain the U.S. tag team titles. The story goes with Jim Cornette. He pretty much just tells everybody this, that what happened was they had their bags packed, and it was right there at the doors. They were ready to go because they knew the fans was going to be able to probably attack them if they didn't. So they had to hurry out of there. They got their stuff and they got out. And the Midnight Express and Jim Cornette made it out alive because they didn't think they were going to. Because the fans, of course, and Anderson didn't want to see their hometown tag team lose, right? But and I can't blame them. So the Monkeys had a unique time in professional wrestling. They were really good to make other tag teams look very spectacular. The Monkeys are one of those teams that didn't mind losing, didn't mind getting, even looking real bad, I guess you could say, as long as everybody, looked good on the heels or the faces, whoever they were facing, right? And so after they left the NWA, they ended up having a short little stint in 1990 with the WWF. I'd have to kind of go back and look and see if I can find. some of those videos of those guys there. But I'm telling you right now, the Mulkey brothers, for those who have never seen them, who didn't understand what they meant to professional wrestling, they meant a lot. They meant a lot to professional wrestling, because for two people to come back week after week and get a ass kicking every single time and be okay with it and be okay with one victory was good. And anytime you get people that dedicated to help, other talent like the Midnight Express or Tully and Arn or the Road Warriors or Rock and Roll look really good in the ring for just a very few moments in the ring. Some of those matches that they had didn't last very long at all, but they were willing to make the sacrifice to look really bad and be okay with it and not say, you know what, hey, we need to leave. We're not going to want to. We're just getting our ass kicked. They stayed dedicated, and they worked, and that's what made the fans really love them. And like I say, with that win with the Gladiators, when they defeated the Gladiators to make it to the Memorial Cup, the fans were laughing at the Gladiators, but they were cheering. They were very happy that the Mulkeys got the win. And again, the Mulkey brothers are one of those tag teams that, you know, made a difference for people and don't get recognized quite enough. I hope you enjoyed this short little podcast about the Mulkey brothers. And I want to do more of these little like short podcast type things. And then we get over time, maybe I'll start going live. We'll do like longer discussions on them. But until next time, God bless. See you soon.